The best of money matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm Hongbin Jeong. Now, in today's digital landscape, data is both an organization's most valuable asset and its most vulnerable. With the rising frequency of ransomware attacks, data breaches, and compliance pressures, many businesses are struggling to not just protect their data, but to recover quickly and move forward with confidence. Now, the challenge is even greater for enterprises operating across hybrid, multi-cloud environments where complexity, fragmentation, and outdated tools can expose critical gaps in resilience. Enter Commvault. Now, a global leader in cyber resilience, Commvault helps organizations uncover threats, take decisive action, and recover fast, all while keeping their data secure and their businesses moving forward. With its unified cloud platform, Commvault brings together advanced data protection, AI-powered threat detection, and rapid recovery at enterprise scale, offering a truly modern approach to resilience in an era of constant risk. And to share more about how Commvault is reshaping the future of cyber resilience, joining us today is Pranay Ahlawat, who is Commvault's Chief Technology and AI Officer. Hi, Pranay. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me, Hongbin.
Thank you so much for joining us. Pranay, we know Commvault has long been a trusted name in data production and cyber resilience, serving over 100,000 organizations globally. So as Chief Technology and AI Officer, what's your role in shaping Commvault's innovation and driving its vision forward? And how do you, continuously identify and address the key gaps in such an evolving landscape?
So, I have all of product management, product strategy, and UX reporting into me. So my job and remit is very simple. It's to shape the vision for the company and help build Commvault into a world-class product organization. And as for how we do it, well, luckily I have a background in strategy. So I was at Boston Consulting Group for about a decade.
Okay.
So it kind of comes naturally, but we take a look at three things. The first is customer. And I spend a lot of time actually talking to customers, both existing and new. I'm actually in Singapore right now for our customer advisory board. The second is, taking a look at the macro environment, what's happening in AI, security, investments, and so on and so forth. And the third is obviously taking a look at our competition and their roadmaps.
Okay, so let's talk more about Commvault and its core offering. I believe Commvault is described as the only platform which has the only cyber resilient solution that combines, advanced data security with rapid recovery at enterprise scale. Walk us through what that actually means. I mean, what does a typical solution from Commvault look like, and how do you tailor it to meet the unique needs of different industries?
It's a great question. So actually, before I answer this question, it's important to understand the problems of our customers. And our customers have two separate challenges. The first challenge is the challenge of data proliferation. So, 90% of them are multi-cloud, 50% of their data is on-premise, and 60% of the customers actually use more than 25 SaaS applications. And, the bulk of the growth for them is actually happening on the cloud, which is growing at about 40% a year. So very heterogeneous data environment. And coupled with that is the second challenge, which is the growth of ransomware. So, and by the way, ransomware and security attacks are growing at about 100% year over year.
Oh, wow.
For the last 2 years. And, there's an interesting stat that 100% of customers in Singapore were hit with a cyber incident, but only about 50% felt that they were prepared. There is a gap between customer preparedness and the security threat. And I think that's where Commvault steps in. So if you think about our product, it's basically two pillars. We do data protection, which is, basically, for a lack of better words, copying data and then recovering it at scale and in a granular way. And then we have a bunch of products that help you do that. We have our hyperscale appliance, HSX. We have Commvault Cloud for both cloud as well as SaaS backup. We have Active Directory, etc. And then the second pillar of our portfolio is our cyber resilience portfolio. So these are things like risk analysis for data triage and scanning, threat scan for identifying malware and making sure that what you're backing up is actually recoverable. And then, of course, we have clean room to ensure that customers can recover the data in a clean, isolated environment for testing and incident response.
Right. Well, it looks like your platform includes, backup, disaster recovery, threat detection, risk scanning, and AI automation. What's the experience like for a customer managing all of this from a single cloud-based console?
The interesting thing, Hongbin, is actually important for customers to manage all of this through a single pane of glass.
Okay.
Look, the more platforms you have, the more entry points it creates for like bad actors. So in today's environment, it's almost an imperative that you combine all of these capabilities into a single platform so customers have the ability to actually recover and do it in a timely way, what we call sort of do it meeting their recovery time objectives. And it's an imperative. And we think the primary reason why some of the largest, most complex customers use Commvault is our ability to basically give them this single pane of glass value proposition.
Okay, okay. Makes sense. Well, your cloud native solutions span across, AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. Let's say a customer comes to you with a multi-cloud or hybrid environment. How does Commvault ensure their data is protected across all workloads then? And what's the onboarding process like and what steps do they need to take?
Our onboarding is very seamless and we're
Okay.
continuing to improve it. So you can be a customer that can start with our Office 365 solution on Azure, for example, and then onboard, AWS workloads seamlessly. And then, go and then onboard Google workloads transparently and manage all of that through a single pane of glass experience. So and then we also have any to any conversion. So we give our customers the ability to actually take VMs that are running on Azure and then recover them on AWS inside of an AWS clean room. And we handle all of the conversion, things like driver injection in the background. So, the experience is designed to be fairly seamless for our customers, Hongben.
Very interesting. Well, then how does Commvault optimize backup and recovery in these complex cloud environments?
Look, we manage about 6 exabytes of data on the cloud, and it's growing at a very, very rapid pace. So there is a bunch of performance tuning and optimization things that I can talk about. But I think the more interesting optimization is the recovery part of the story. So think about it for a minute. When you are actually recovering a cloud native application, data is a very small part of the story. You also have to worry about all the metadata, the network ACLs, the firewall configurations, the security configurations, etc. So we have a product called Cloud Rewind that enables you to basically point to a cloud and recover not just the data, but all of the metadata. And that drives about a 90% improvement in recovery times. Because when you are in a cyber situation or when your business is down, every second counts.
Right. Every second does indeed count. I mean, we're living in an era where we rely so much on technology that every industry has this importance of data protection here. I mean, you also have a strong presence in high risk and regulated industries, whether it's healthcare, finance, or government. How does Commvault then address those sector specific challenges and what kind of features do you help support in decision or detection play?
Great question. Look, I mean, regulation is a huge burden for the industry today, almost like a true $2 trillion problem. And look, a lot of our capabilities are horizontal. So, when you think about auditing, reporting, our immutable storage, policy-based retention, which is required by regulations like HIPAA or our geofencing capabilities, I think a lot of them will apply to many, many regulations across the industries. And then we've also engineered things that are industry specific. So, for example, we are the only platform that is FedRAMP High certified. And then we have another offering called Hyperscale Edge, which is our low cost, smaller scale appliance for remote offices. And it works great for verticals like retail and manufacturing. So, it's through a mix of our horizontal and vertical specific capabilities that we are able to meet some of the most stringent requirements of these regulated industries.
Well, what about for, smaller IT teams? What's your approach when working with organizations that may not have a dedicated security team or just starting, their cyber resilience journey? Are there any entry-level packages that you offer that make it easier for them to scale?
Absolutely. I mean, first off, we have a portfolio of managed services. So customers don't even have to worry about actually having backup teams. We just do it all for them. And then we also partner with multiple MSPs that have their own portfolio of services as well. So that's one option. And then the other option is, our own products. So our SaaS offerings, as well as our scale out appliance, which is HSX. They're ideal for small companies. They're easy to start with. They have sensible defaults and, they scale with the company. A mix of options for some of the smaller teams here.
Right. And, beyond the core services, then, do you offer any unique or lesser known capabilities that your customers really love once they do discover them?
There are tons. I love one feature in particular. So we have this offering, which we call sort of our Active Directory forest level recovery. So just to give you a little bit of context, Active Directory is the mother workload.
Okay.
It controls access to everything in your organizations. And 9 out of 10 cyber attacks actually go after Active Directory. So if your Active Directory is gone, you're toast as a company.
Oh.
We provide a very sophisticated sort of forest level recovery, and it's very complex to bring up like a Active Directory forest. It's a multi-step, highly manual, very error-prone process. And the team actually built something called runbook automation. So, when you're actually recovering Active Directory, it gives you sort of very fine-grained control on the different steps. You can skip certain things. You can actually execute custom scripts. And our customers absolutely love it. Again, it's one of those features that has been so well received. We're actually going to bring it to other recovery workflows as well. But it's one of those like esoteric small features which our customers absolutely love.
Amazing. Well, other than the service that you just described there, of all the services that you do offer, whether it's SaaS data protection, ransomware recovery, or threat detection, what areas are clients, leaning into the most right now and why?
So I think there are three for me. The first is our cloud native portfolio. There are macro reasons for that. If you take a look at cloud, it's about, 200 billion, growing at about 20%. 85% of all the cores that are coming online are all on the cloud. So obviously there's a lot of growth there. And we have a very, very robust cloud backup product, and that's seeing a lot of growth. So that is number one. Number two is Active Directory. Like I said, it is a very, very critical workload. We have a very strong product, and we're seeing a lot of traction with Active Directory. And the third is our cyber resilience portfolio. Believe it or not, when we talk to customers today, the number one question we get asked is not whether we can recover data or not. I think that's a given. It's whether the customer actually has confidence in what they're recovering is clean.
Okay.
And it's this notion of clean recovery and the ability to be confident. I think that's a very, very important aspect and a value proposition that Commvault is delivering today.
All right. Well, you've positioned Commvault Cloud as more unified, secure, and cost-effective compared to offerings from, Rubrik, Viren, or Cohesity. What do customers tell you about the difference, they experience when they make the switch to Commvault?
Big differentiator for us is scale. Where we shine is some of the largest, most complex environments that actually have the biggest data estates. And, it's a testament to our architecture that we've done well with scale. And then the second is just the breadth and the depth of workload. So breadth, we've been doing it for 25 years. We have probably the biggest support matrix there is. And by depth, I mean, it's not just about like pushing a button and recovering a workload, but it's the ability to actually do granular recovery. It's the ability to actually customize how things are getting recovered. I think those little details are what differentiates a really, really good product from a good product.
And finally, before we let you go here, Pranay, looking ahead, what are some upcoming enhancements or features that customers can look forward to? What's next for Commvault?
Look, there's so much that I want to discuss, but I can't. So I
No, just give
encourage you
us a
to
little
actually,
tease.
yeah, listen, I encourage you all to actually listen to some of the announcements that are coming and shipped. I'm very, very excited about some really groundbreaking innovations that we're bringing to market. But the two things that, that I'm personally very excited about is we're doing a ton in AI. Especially, we've made a ton of investments in Arlie, which is like our chatbot. And we do think, it has now come to a point where it's driving significant value, and we're seeing a lot of great feedback that we're getting for customers. So very excited about what we're doing with Arlie. And then we're investing a ton in both user experience and MSP experience. So we're continuing to sort of make investments there. But, again, a lot of great features and announcements coming up. I highly encourage you all to actually tune in.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pranay, for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
That was Pranay Ahlawat, who is the Commvault's Chief Technology and AI Officer. This has been The Right Business with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.